Hey, yes, as promised. Yes, good to see you guys again as well. It'll either be B&B or scale. Awesome, thanks. Yeah, Filipinos are crazy with their schedules. A lot of you guys are usually up really late. Awesome, awesome. How you handling those new crypto taxes? Keep it on chain. I mean, you know, or whatever it is that they need you to do. Even if it does go to 10 cents, you will still be able to play to earn. We'll probably just increase the amount of skill that everything costs and that you actually earn. But I don't think it'll go that low. Let's restart this. Interesting. I think Restream doesn't post audio unless you share your entire screen. That's probably what it is. Will there be IGO? I wasn't intending on it. It is something that we can turn on and off, but I don't know that we necessarily need it. Given how many NFTs we've given out recently. Oh, right. Here we go. We can kind of ecosystem diagram this. That's actually pretty good. Because yeah, someone was asking about how that works to have the rewards. Oh, here we go. Forgot something. How the rewards will work, as well as the liquidity within the Scale ecosystem. I forget how much they put in here, but I think it's at least like 50 to 100K Scale tokens. Just I'll have to double check. And any of you guys can go check within Ruby as well. All right. Put some squiggly lines there. Gets real confusing with skill and scale, but I think we'll be okay. So there's two options here when you're playing on scale once we get the liquidity added in. So the first thing to note is, and I can actually even make this a little bit more. If I just delete this box, that would make things easier, because this is a huge pain in the butt. So we have just want to make this more accurate. So this is what it'll look like. Oh, and let me make sure I get my chats up. There we go. So within the Scaleverse, as they call it, which is just a collection of chains within Scale, there's the Omnis chain where CryptoBlades lives, the multi-farm, etc. You guys will be playing. There's going to be here, and actually we can specify the farms while we're at it. Do I think that it's hard for newbies to understand this? Yes. And also, the end goal is to make this fairly transparent, or not even transparent, invisible, I guess is a better word, where they can click and then they can claim and then it can easily go to their bank account. That tooling will be very, very valuable to other projects when we've finished developing it. But that will solve a lot of these problems. However, a lot of the interactions between these different, like this is sort of the architecture, I guess you could say. We are going to try to create more like abstract interfaces within CryptoBlades so that you don't have to leave it all. Very similar to what we did with ApeSwap, where you can pull up ApeSwap, within the modal, and you don't even have to go to the website. And for those that really want the details and want more information about how this works, I think it's also important to share with people how this whole thing fits together and exactly what the scale events will entail. So that's why I'm going into depth here, because people want to know, like, what are we going to be able to earn? Like, how is scale supporting us? And this is a big part of that. And of course, when it comes to people that are new to the ecosystem, we still have Granny Friendly as one of the most important initiatives, really across the board. Marketing wants it, development team wants it, I want it, users want it, and we have some really good ideas and workflows on how to make Granny Friendly, how to actually implement that. And scale is a big part of that because there's no gas requirement. So one of the small steps is that you guys are going to be able to claim your S fuel directly within the CryptoBlades website. And that even coming to CryptoBlades for the first time and interacting, you would simply be able to claim it or have it airdrop to you. So there's quite a few things in the works to make this a lot simpler. Hey. Also, this is the piece that I'm also trying to elaborate on for you guys. No, same amount of tokens. We're already on scale. We're already on 10 chains. All right. Back to this. For Hiko, I would recommend bridging over to scale. Hiko has basically completely ended support really for any projects on their chain. We're providing skill. They are providing USDP, Java. As far as some new chains that are confirmed coming next, we have well, again, I don't want to let too many cats out of the bag. Well, it doesn't really matter because obviously that's the whole point, right? We want to get excited about stuff. But the ones that we have confirmed coming next at various stages of either integration or negotiation. So keep in mind, some negotiations can go south and they end up not coming through. But I won't list off like every single one that we're talking to, like only ones where we're actually like have sent them proposals and they've responded to proposals. Scale is a blockchain, Lucas. It's our own L2. It's using the Scale blockchain as a service, but our chain is actually our own chain. So completely gas free, never have to pay for gas. And yeah, it's a really honestly great experience to be able to play CryptoBlades without having to worry about profitability. And yes, it's in EVM. It's actually an L2 of ETH. What was I saying? What chains are coming next? So we have Meter, which has already been integrated. We're just validating some of the contracts still. We have Oasis, which we've already sent them a proposal and are in talks. We have Kronos. So we're in the process of finalizing some of the terms there. Doge Chain was actually pretty high up there on our priority list and pretty close to closing, but they're sort of slowing down their project acquisition for the moment. However, they're still very interested in bringing on CryptoBlades, and I honestly think it'd be a really great ecosystem, really fun ecosystem to introduce CryptoBlades to, as well as make it easier for other projects to integrate. Phantom is another one. Telos is another one. Tezos is another one. Qdom is another one. And those are the ones that are, like I said, we're already in the negotiation side of things. We have multiple other ones that we're either just starting talks with or still developing what that proposal might look like, and various others that we're kind of determining, like, is this even worth it to deploy to? Because sometimes we don't want to get another Hiko situation. So all of those are and we're actually in the process of negotiating some pretty cool rewards for those in AVAX. So they're prioritizing both their C chain and their subnets. So again, the talks have slowed down a little bit over the past weeks, just with various market conditions and priorities. But that one was, we actually, again, like sent proposals. We just really need to finalize, and then we can have some pretty interesting things going on with Avalanche too. Yeah, exactly. Congrats, Az, because I know you are AVAX. Right. And so that's and that's a great viewpoint on this is like with any business, we have a sales pipeline. We have things in various stages of that sales pipeline. Nothing is final until the smart contracts are deployed and the front end is live. But as you guys have seen, we've launched a number of smart chains, and so at this point, I have a pretty good feel, and we have a very good process for onboarding them. And with the really lack of projects that actually have traction and users right now, we have a lot going for us. And that's even without being able to sort of more publicly show the traction of our own Omnis chain. And that's going to be changing very soon too, that I really want to be highlighting here, because we're going to need really you guys to more organically drive the excitement around Omnis chain, because the idea is that Omnis chain can actually have multiple of the top games on DApp Radar. That's really what our goal is there. So CryptoBlades, once we actually show our DAUs from Omnis Chain as well, is going to be, a top 10 either DApp in general or certainly blockchain game. And as we bring in more game projects, you're going to see Omnis Chain, and that's going to be, I think, really huge for our business development team to be getting people coming to us. The whole attract, don't chase model that we're chasing a lot of leads right now. However, when we meet them and they hear what we have to offer, they are really kind of coming to us like, hey, when can we do this? When can we do this? And it's kind of a matter of finding the time to continue developing CryptoBlades while we're continuing to develop the platform. And also a lot of it, like I said, we were doing without a sales pipeline in place. It was all just like, it was challenging to orchestrate, these connections with over 100 different projects that now we have the resources and the right tooling to be able to manage that finally. I think once you guys see what we're going to be doing with AVAX, you're going to be pretty excited about it, to be honest. Yes, Omnis Chain, right. There might be a scale. It might be scale, like it might be an indexer, but because I know they're working on like an indexer for DApp Radar so that they can show like all of the different Scaleverse chains. But we're going to try and work that out so that we can also be showing Omnis Chain. I can't help that I'm also really excited about it. I've been working on it for I think it's been 4 months that I've been working on this proposal with them, and I really, really want to see it through. I really want it to come to completion. Yes, it's not finalized yet, but I know that they want it. It's just a matter of priorities right now for them. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited for it, and it could really turn out to be one of our most important long-term partnerships. Yes, we do. We do still have to finish the RG whiteboard, and that is here. It is in this space, but we should be able to get to that. Yeah, right. We're selling both. So we have a protocol that has a ton of users, and every smart chain has really just a few prime metrics that they use when they're going off to try and receive funding or to show traction or to attract more people, right? Because people don't want to go to a dead chain. They want to go where there's activity. And so when we bring our users and we bring activity, we bring real users, right? And that's super important and valuable to these chains. And because of our model and because we own all the technology in between, it's just so easy for us to do this onboarding, and other projects want to be able to do that onboarding easily too, and maybe even use a similar model, right? Just give more freedom to the business, to the NFT holders, and that's why we have so many games lining up to use all of our services as well. Yeah, sorry. But they're going to bridge if it's worthwhile, and it's worthwhile if there's earnings, and there's earnings dependent on how many people are there, right? So it all evens out, right? There's a reason that we didn't get 20,000 people into BNB, right? Because the amount that we were incentivizing really kind of had an equilibrium right around between 3,000 and 5,000 users that those amount of rewards would support. So that's what you can expect. And that's kind of one of the beauties of this whole system is people decide on the earnings and then they bridge or they bridge back sometimes, right? So it will even out, and the rewards will be good, but I don't think that they'll be like it won't like be the only chain or whatever, right? Like we're still gonna have a ton of people that love the gas free on scale. We're still gonna have people on BNB doing their BNB thing, on Polygon doing their Polygon thing, etc. Don't dump on them. Just don't dump on them. Or do. I mean, right? It's a trustless system. You could do whatever you want, but maybe try not to dump on them as my request. But I hope that this is a little bit more clear on like, so when you transfer your skill to USDP, obviously you can take that USDP and transfer it out to your exchange or whatever, or you can just keep it as USDP and not incur any gas costs or to bridge it out to other chains and bridge it to exchanges and stuff like that. That's the majority of it. And the nice thing is you don't need to like be selling it for gas, which I think is going to be huge. We have people that can actually earn skill and just hold it if they want to, so that they can obviously invest in the ecosystem or reinvest in their characters. I think it'll be really important, and this is sort of one of the things I was trying to highlight here, as one of the sort of benefits of this approach. Are you serious? Please make a straight line. Okay, well, whatever. Maybe I just picked the wrong. That's it. Okay. Still feels crooked to me. That's not straight. Okay, that is driving me crazy. So here's a couple options. So obviously there's being able to just earn, right? Earn the tokens, sell them, yada, yada. Everybody's happy, right? You guys get that part. But this also opens up some new avenues. I'm going to put something here. So this is couple different things that you can do outside of just earn skill, sell skill, or earn scale, sell scale. By providing liquidity, you're going to be earning the Ruby token, and you can be using that Ruby token for yield generation for as long as they're printing it out for you. That Ruby token can then be, additionally sold for some additional revenue, right? For some additional APR. And then you don't have to sell your skill. So obviously there's always impermanent loss, which means if skill really starts pumping, because there's two sides of impermanent loss, which let me really quickly primer on impermanent loss, which is it's the term for the reduced risk as well as the increased risk of providing liquidity, right? And we provide liquidity, right? Because we're very long on our token. So it makes sense for us that we want to continue to make scale tradable, and you guys can help us to make scale more tradable by doing this. So there's benefits outside of, there's purely selfish benefits like being able to earn the Ruby tokens and have an extra earning, right? Because you're not losing your skill, like you still have the same amount of skill. And unless, of course, the price of skill pumps, you actually have less skill, which I'll get into. But you would end up having more USDP. So the ratio changes. But here we go. Would USDP have to be bridged away to cash out? A good question. I'll check on that one. I'll check to see if they have a fiat off ramp on Europa, which would be nice. It'd be nice to not have to bridge it out if you could just send it out, right, to an exchange. Let's say what, 70 cents, $3.50. So $3 would be, yeah, that would be a big change. I'll do something a little bit more even. So like tripled. Let's say it triples in price. So what this means is if skill pumps, right, if skill goes up 3x in price from 70 cents to $2.10, and you go to withdraw, you're going to not have 5 skill to withdraw, right, which would be worth $15. You'll have 1.66 skill to withdraw and $10.50 in USDP because that ratio. And I'll just double check that my math is right here because I did use a calculator. All right. Okay. Oh, oops. Hey, someone. Oh, never mind. Thought you guys were posting some corrections. Oh, I see. Sorry, guys. My math was off. I'll update it. I was double checking this. Beep boop. Get some numbers backwards. Okay. So what this means is impermanent loss in its simplest forms. The difference in value of your tokens if you provide liquidity versus hold the tokens in your wallet. So so here you can see if you would have just held 5 skill and it went up, triple from 70 cents to $2.10, you would have a total value in your wallet of both, adding the scale and the USDP, right? $10.50 in just skill and $3.50 in USDP. Meaning, by providing liquidity, you didn't gain as much value from that scale pump. Even though, yes, you did gain a nominal amount of USDP, you went from 3.5 to 6.06, you had to trade some scale in order to achieve that, because the ratio always has to stay the same between the tokens. You still made money. Like, you started off with $7 and now you're up to $12. So it's not that you lose money when the price goes up. You still gain money, but you just gain less money. But when you look at it the other way around, if a token, and even if you predict a token's value to go down, it's actually beneficial to provide liquidity as a hedge, because take a look at this. So let's say all right. Let's say token price goes down let's say the token price goes down to 35 cents. You will now have more skill, less USDP. Okay. Or a total value of 4.94. Now, if you just held skill and the value dropped, so you start with 5, right? Because you didn't put anything into the liquidity pool. Let's see, 5 skill, 35 cents. Held on to your USDP. For a total of 525. here the impermanent loss is significantly lower than, oops. Give an impermanent loss of 31 cents. And in the meantime, you will have been accruing APR or APY, and that can still be sold while you're providing liquidity. And the idea, sort of the math game, is can I achieve more rewards than my sort of ultimate downside while also being able to measure that against how much could I earn if the price goes way up versus the amount that I can sell, these APR tokens for. And this is why a lot of people get burned big time in DeFi, because you need to model out exactly where your it's not like just having a token and having a stop loss, right? Where you can say, when the token reaches this price, I'm out. I'll cut my losses at 15% or whatever it is. I had a bullish bias, but it ended up going bearish, and I had my stop loss, and it goes out. It's not as straightforward when you're providing liquidity, and on top of that, you need to factor in how much volume is this liquidity pool actually going to get, right? Because at the end of the day, you're earning because you're providing a service. You are becoming a market maker for a token, and there needs to be volume on top of whatever the APR rewards are in order for that to become beneficial. And so that's kind of like the primer on impermanent loss. And I'll save this here, and we'll actually get straight over to the RG token stuff. I'll also just double check that. Look at everything that we've got, guys. This is pretty cool, huh? I'll also get over to this here as well. But it'd be great to discuss, and I would even love to hear some ideas for the RG DAO and kind of what you guys would like to do there. But let me make sure I'm sharing. Okay, cool. So Ruby's going to be essentially printing incentive rewards for us, which is why we are utilizing them, right? It's also beneficial for Scale for us to be utilizing other projects within their ecosystem, which is one of the reasons that they're providing this liquidity for us. So yes, CBDEX is CBDEX, but for one, it's still in development. And for two, we need a more immediate solution to have liquidity on Scale. So it still serves a really great purpose for us. We just went over impermanent loss, which is definitely not granny friendly, but I'm trying to put it in granny friendly terms. And obviously this is all for review for anyone who wants to check it out and access it. Yeah, I would agree. Liquidity farming is great when it's not volatile, which is why stable token farming is a real thing. So a lot of people need to transfer USDT to USDC, for example. You can just take both pairs. You don't have to worry about impermanent loss unless there's a major depeg and it goes sideways forever. Or you want it to go sideways forever, but if it ceases to exist, right? Like UST, then that's a big problem. But yeah, stable token farming is very real. The APRs are pretty low, but it's because it's very low risk. A lot of people are willing to sort of drop their stable tokens into a farm because they just have BUSD and USDT or something like that, and earn 3.5% APR, and maybe earn some DEX rewards, earn some trading fees. A lot of people, there's really high volumes on those pools. So yeah. All right, one impermanent loss for skill at 1,000. Yeah. All right, yeah, I'll do it. Ouch. Your impermanent loss would be 94%. Because you would actually go down from five tokens down to 0.13 skill. Your USDP would actually only go up to $132. So yeah, you would, if you would have held skill, it would be worth 5,000. But by placing it in liquidity, it's worth 264. So yeah, that gets you really, really hard right there. And that's why it's important to have stop losses for impermanent loss too. All right. I'll check if they have automatic orders for range liquidity. Yeah, I know range liquidity. There's a couple on BNB that do that too, which is pretty neat. And I'll check on that. It's a great question. This is essentially the route that we're going in order to have this kind of functionality for our DEX. We were trying to create a cheaper and more simplified version, cheaper on gas, but because that's going to be far less of an issue, it was also going to sort of speed up the development a little bit to not have to like re-implement a lot of the different front end things. But at the end of the day, the contracts need to be completely 100% safe and unexploitable, and using pre-audited contracts is a really great way to do that. And then we can add our own functionality on top of it. Because one of the things that we want to be doing is, for example, emit NFT rewards, or be able to automatically add in character power based on liquidity within our own DEX and things like that. So that's kind of the benefit of the CB DEX for you guys. And then for other projects, the benefit will be able to emit different NFT rewards, whether there are NFTs or other NFTs, which I think will be pretty interesting. And then finally, what I would love to have is actually NFT liquidity. So provide 100 NFTs, and people would then be able to purchase those and sort of have some an AMM essentially for the NFTs, for very high liquidity NFTs like what we have. Yeah. So they would have to, for one, meet all the requirements, which most projects don't. Based on user volume to actually afford their own chain. We also have a significant grant from them, which makes it so that we don't have to, for example, rent it, as a lot of other projects would actually have to pay for the chain. So in a way, the projects can eventually gain traction within our chain and then upgrade to have their own chain with scale. And it can kind of be a springboard for them to sort of have their own chain as a service. We can sort of be the breeding ground for really successful for projects, and some of them will be really successful, and some of them may not be. But that's the benefit for projects, is they don't have to go through all of that. Plus, they don't have to manage a chain, right? Because even managing a chain is still another job. And if they can just deploy, more power to them, a lot more easy. So there's quite a few benefits. Whiteboards in dark mode, that might be fun. Yeah, I don't think that's available. All right. So let's dig into the RG tokens. Just catching up on questions, comments. Sorry. All right, getting back to it. Oh, no, sorry. It cuts out when I go and check other things. Yes, the shards will be usable for more special swords in the future. Okay. So let's dig into the RG tokens. Ah. There we go. Oh, actually, I don't have this number in front of me. If someone wouldn't mind just putting the amount of BUSD you received per skill token, that would be helpful since I don't have it in front of me. There we go. Okay, thank you, Lessinus. Yeah. So there's ways that people in crypto in general, because in the United States, they typically treat people and companies very similarly. That's an LLC is, and that's kind of what some very, I guess you could say, uh, controversial laws even center around that. Are corporations actually people? Yes or no? And right now, the government says that yes, corporations are people and get the same rights as people, et cetera. So what that means is when people pay taxes on crypto, we do this. We do the same. We pay similar taxes on crypto. Um, if it ever were to come up that they wanted to say Scale is a security and needs to be registered with the SEC, then what they would do is take a look at any U.S. citizen, not any person in the world, but any U.S. citizen, ask them if they want to get a refund of whatever it was that they paid for the Scale token, and uh, and essentially make a claim. Right, there would be some sort of lawsuit. Um, that's not the end of the world. Typically, they target projects or companies, that raise tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. And also, a lot of times, those damages are not even necessarily equivalent to like the current token prices or anything like that, but it would be similar to what they actually contributed, which is another reason that we use KYC for any tokens, right? That we don't, or at least do our best to avoid having sold any to U.S. citizens. NFTs are a completely different story, and there's many U.S.-based companies that that sell or resell NFTs, and those are not currently in the securities question. They're not ruled out, but they're also not the target of a lot of the legislation that's going about. Fractal is a great example of a company that actually mints NFTs and sells them, and they're a U.S.-based company. So OpenSea, I want to say they have a U.S.-based subsidiary. Uniswap is actually a U.S.-based company, and their approach is like, well, the token is owned by a DAO, and the DAO is not us, and we contribute code. And so there's like certain ways that they kind of get around it that we could also say too, right? Because our project is open source. But at the end of the day, we've followed the guidance of legal counsel when setting everything up too. And as that continues to change, we continue to do things differently as well. And so, as new information comes, we update things. But right now, there's not any kind of like worry or risk. Like we're not, doing anything sort of like under the radar. So yeah. Not exactly. However, they are rolling out their ZK rollup fairly soon. I want to say this quarter, which will effectively reduce the fees to 0.001 or something like that. All right. I know that there's a number of RG token holders in the chat. What are some things that you guys want to see us make available to you outside of some of this high level stuff? I know that you guys are anxious for the snapshot to get created. We have tickets out for that. For the first proposals to get created. I know that we've also talked about having some sort of scale fee on Scale, which I don't know necessarily if it would be smart to, like, for example, have a flat fee, because it kind of removes like a gas fee, because it kind of removes some of the benefit of being able to get started. But there could certainly be like a phase 9.3 fee in Skill, right? Which means people can still get started and play, but have to hold a certain amount of wallet scale to continue playing. That could cause some pretty good buy pressure, I think, while also making sure that the fee is obviously, as it was on some of the other chains, not prohibitively expensive. I could draw up some examples of that, what that proposal might look like, but those are some of the things that we'll also decide together, and especially in the beginning, the team will approve the proposals, and then from there, the proposals will go to the vote, and if the vote passes, it will get implemented. If the vote doesn't pass, it won't get implemented. And the DAO is invited to create proposals and send them to us too. Things that they want to see get done. So, there's quite a few things that I think would be pretty neat in the future too. Like even have a multi-sig where we would have a budget that's associated with the RG DAO, and you guys could actually decide, who might get some grant funding or who might get some bounties in order for work to get done on the project. Really take even more ownership over what gets done. I think that that's kind of some of the things off the top of my head, but I'd love to hear what you guys think, especially as RG holders. You guys are probably have an even different mindset than I do. So the staking of RG to have some rewards is a little bit problematic, because you're already getting monthly rewards in the form of the phase 9.3 fees. So while I wouldn't rule it out, I wouldn't want it to be in Skill, right? Because that will just get sold, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having the tokens in this type of pool. What other kind of rewarding? There could be NFT rewards, I would say. There could be NFT rewards, cosmetics, Discord roles. I'll write some of these down. Move our macroeconomic stuff. Ooh, don't do that. We are running out of room. Look at that pretty BTC flower. Okay. All right, so we got this one. Yeah, it would mean that there's, you know, some sort of benchmark of the amount of RG held in order to gain some of these, but it could be tiers too. You know, 1 RG, 1 star blade, 10 RG, etc. No, I would end up buying it for you. Yeah, it gets sent directly to the RG holders, which is gained via the on-chain data prior to it being sent. Okay, I like that. Cool. Yeah, this actually would be possible. It would be possible. I think that's an interesting one to pursue. Also, guys, I've got about 10 more minutes on this. So if there's anything else you guys want to discuss too, like I'm glad that we're getting down to the nitty gritty of the RG token. But I also want to make sure that, you know, we get any questions answered, elaborate on anything that we're doing with scale. The equipment manager is, was that announced now? Let me see. Aha! It looks like I still can't say what it'll be. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that. Oh, hey, CB God, you did a good reaction. But yes, just to specify, it will be on all chains, and as soon as it's out, we're going to start implementing the various NFT benefits, which will include benefits within our ecosystem primarily first. So that'll be trinkets, and that'll shields that are going to get their utility added through Equipment Manager first. And then outside of that, we're also going to be incentivizing other NFTs to do some sort of cross-pollination or cross-marketing with their NFTs to A, incentivize their users to come check us out, but B, incentivize you guys to go check out their project. And these will be projects that have existing licensing relationships with our platform so that we can add additional benefits to the projects that are on our platform. So that's kind of the beauty of having this blockchain platform that a regular GameFi platform can't do, is that, because there's a standard, the ERC 721 standard, and we will in the future support composable NFTs and rentable NFTs as well. That it makes it fairly simple, So if unannounced project wants to have some, have their land or have their characters or weapons have some additional benefit within CryptoBlades, then we can work something like that out. And that'll be more reason for you guys to go play their game because, okay, great, I'll buy the NFT because I know I'm going to get an ROI from the added, let's say stamina increase, XP increase, power increase from equipping this NFT. And then additionally, you'll be able to use that NFT in their project too, just in whatever way, they're that they have, whether it's an earning mechanism or a collection mechanism. It'll just help with that cross-pollination of projects. But that's kind of the idea with the Equipment Manager, and really, really excited for you guys to see it and check it out. I like I said, the primary focus of making more weapons available for people is because the Equipment Manager will require one weapon per character in order to be effective. Not only for the gas enhancements, but also just in general for the equipping of NFTs and getting the benefits from that NFT enhancement. So it couldn't be wallet based; it had to be character based. So we will still be working. The idea is not to cause or create hardship by having the additional weapon. It's just a fairly monumental change that we've also tried to create some simple ways for people to claim weapons and increase their weapon holdings. But additionally, we are continuing to work on the Bazaar and work out any issues there. Obviously, the Bazaar on from what I understand, the Bazaar on Scale is has no issues. The BNB one has a lot of issues from a lot of old NFTs, but we'll be continuing to make sure that the basics are all covered when it comes to people being able to obtain weapons for Equipment Manager launching. How fast can you implement using skill as a gas fee on Scale? Like very, very quickly. In fact, what we would do is create a phase 9.3 fee, because that won't limit people from joining the chain and recruiting, which is one of the worst things about user acquisition on most chains, is that they have to buy gas before they can do anything. They can still collect the gas for completely free, start playing, and when they play, a portion of their fight earnings will be paid in skill. I can elaborate more on that, not exactly right now, but shortly. I think for most of you, you probably get what I'm saying if you're already familiar with phase 9.3 fees. And if anyone has questions, please inform them. But that's what it would look like. It would look like a phase 9.3 fee that's in skill, which is only incurred upon combat, and is not incurred at such a rate that the final multiplier value would be less than the amount of skill paid at the time. Meaning, let's say there's a 0.1 multiplier on skill. We're not going to make you pay 0.1 skill to fight. and then only be able to claim 0.01 skill, right? So the combat earnings in claimed value is what we would use, and it's only a portion of that, like roughly, I think we said a quarter of that. So a quarter of your claimed value of combats is what the phase 9.3 fee would be set to. Meaning if you earn 0.1 unclaimed and the multiplier is 0.1, you would pay 0.0025 skill in order to interact with combat, and then you would earn 0.1 unclaimed, and that would be able to be claimed for 0.01 claimed. Yes. However, that would mean we have to pay for it, right? So it exists for people to be able to, the feature exists for people to be able to have a sort of gas tank. But I mean, I don't want to be in the business of supplying gas for 100,000 people on, let's say by July of next year, and having to front that bill. That would just be absurdly expensive. It would be possible, but unwise, for the reason I stated. I don't think very many people would pay 0.1 skill if they can only claim 0.01 skill, right? So at the end of the day, we have to be mindful that people want to click and they want to earn and they want to sell it and they want to profit. That's like our bread and butter. Without that, we don't have anything. As much as there are some awesome OGs who just are investing in this ecosystem and are very long on skill like we are, and are choosing not to sell skill, but just hold skill or hold unclaimed even, because we've kind of laid out a lot of different benefits that we're going to be giving to people for unclaimed. That's going to be very valuable when the next bull market comes, especially when we have Ascension Pad going full steam on scale, as well as other chains. We have NFTs, that could be minted through unclaimed at a very high value. So for example, if you only paid 10 cents, or if you paid 0 gas to have a whole bunch of unclaimed, and then now you can start minting NFTs, which are soaring in value because maybe the CryptoBlades either game or platform is gaining significant traction. I mean, that's huge. You're essentially arbitraging your time, right? You spent time now, accumulated unclaimed, and will create these NFTs when it's most valuable to you, and take advantage of those opportunities. So there's and we want to create even more fun things to do with unclaimed, for that matter. I'm very much looking forward to PvP on scale. I think that's going to be just mind-blowing. Not having to worry about the gas and just being able to play and have fun. I mean, I think you can kind of stay in the arena all day, put Robo Kroge in there. I'll play it for sure. I'll stream it all the time. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up here. Just as a quick overview, what we went over today was we added some things to our to-do list, our shit to get done. Thank you guys for providing some valuable feedback on things that are causing you issues in our ecosystem and that we can provide some quicker fixes for. We also went over the RG token in depth about some of the immediate benefits or some of the initial benefits that we already have planned, as well as some really cool ideas that we can triage and put into things that are actually actionable or maybe not, like we did with the other issues. So I won't let that get past us. And we also went over impermanent loss and quite a lot of detail so that you guys can understand if you want to take part in, for example, providing liquidity and helping us stabilize the token price within Scale, what the pros and cons of that are. And we also went over just in general how the Scaleverse is going to work and what kind of rewards we're going to be providing within Omnis Chain. And then finally, be prepared for when Omnis Chain is announced on DApp Radar, because that's going to be huge for us to start onboarding other projects and games, which means we're going to be onboarding customers to our NFT bridge, our Bazaar Marketplace, our platform in general. And that's really, I think, where you guys can come into play and share, how you guys have been utilizing all of these different tools to play CryptoBlades over the past 18 or 19 months, and really welcome these new projects into our ecosystem with open arms, help them resolve any potential issues that they might have. Really, it'll be the same process for any NFT as it is for CryptoBlades NFTs. And yeah, so we'll keep you guys in the loop on that. Very, very excited. And it's been a long time coming. It's a major, major milestone for us as a platform. And then, of course, very excited for the mystery feature that's releasing tomorrow, and watching how that plays out with people, being able to equip multiple NFTs, or at least have the ability to, right? And then kind of working out with you guys what some of those benefits, first benefits end up being. So thanks a lot, everyone. Love you all, and we will be in touch.